Psalm 46 does not begin where we expect a morning devotional to begin. It does not open with calm. It does not start with peace. It does not assume a quiet world or a settled heart. It opens with instability. The psalm speaks of the earth giving way, of mountains falling into the sea, of waters roaring and forming. It names nations in uproar and kingdoms falling. This is not poetic exaggeration for effect. It is a truthful description of what life often feels like. Ground that once felt firm begins to shift. Structures we trusted no longer hold. The noise grows louder. The pace increases. Anxiety rises. Control slips. Psalm 46 does not deny any of this. It does not rush past it. It lets the chaos speak first. And that matters. Because stillness is not about the absence of trouble. Stillness is a response to trouble. It is not something we practice when life is calm. It is something we choose precisely when life is not. The psalm begins by naming God as refuge and strength. Not an escape, not a distraction, not a temporary shelter from responsibility, but a refuge, a place you deliberately return to, a place you remain within while the world moves around you. Refuge implies pressure. Strength implies resistance. This is not a gentle opening. It is a grounded one. The psalm begins by naming God as a refuge and strength. Then the psalm does something subtle but important. In the middle of the shaking earth and roaring waters, it introduces a different image. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God. Not a flood, not a storm, not a wave crashing. A river. A river moves steadily. It does not panic. It does not rush. It does not change direction every time the terrain shifts. It continues quietly, consistently, supplying life wherever it flows. This is how the presence of God is described here. Not as loud interruption, but as sustaining nearness. Stillness, according to the psalm, is not the absence of motion. It is the presence of order. The psalm reminds us that God is within his dwelling place, and therefore will not fall. The emphasis is not on strength of the walls, but on the presence within them. Stability does not come from how tightly we hold things together. It comes from who is present at the center. This matters for mornings. Because many of us wake up already braced for impact. Our first instinct is to reach, to scroll, to plan, to manage, to prepare ourselves for what might go wrong. We mistake motion for readiness. We confuse speed with faithfulness. We assume that if we don't move first, we fall behind. Psalm 46 speaks directly into the instinct and exposes it. Later, the psalm says, God lifts his voice The earth melts. Notice who speaks here. Not us, not the nations, not the anxious, God. The earth responds not to human effort, but to divine authority. Stillness is not silence for its own sake. It is attentiveness. It is knowing when not to speak because someone else already has. The psalm continues by describing war ceasing, weapons being broken, conflict undone. This is not because people finally agree, but because God intervenes. Human striving reaches its limit. Divine sovereignty does not. And then finally, the psalm offers a command that is so familiar, we often miss its weight. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. This is not a suggestion. It is not a poetic encouragement. It is a command. And it comes after chaos has been fully acknowledged. Stillness here is not passivity. It is surrender. It is the decision to stop competing with God for control. It is the recognition that our striving does not add authority to His presence. It only distracts us from it. To be still is to stop rehearsing outcomes. To be still is to stop managing every possible future. To be still is to stop confusing responsibility with anxiety. Stillness is not laziness. It is trust made visible.